Hey, what's up? This is Rafal Hoffman. We're going to be discussing whether or not I have schizophrenia. This, unfortunately, I know it's surprising. I get this accusation a lot. Like the last few years, there have been a handful of people who online or randomly who may have suggested it. So first things first is when you make a lot of connections in the universe, right? Basically, the universe is like a simulation, and it's also a projection. Like both our mind and the universe is kind of interplaying with each other to create outcomes, right? People who are into philosophy, into spirituality, into esoterics, into the mind, into different ideas that overlap. They come to this conclusion that there's an interplay and an interconnectedness between you and the universe, such that you yourself are creating and are contributing to what you see in the external world. So it's very fair to say those who advance high enough will get some of these symptoms of schizophrenia, knowing the interconnectedness of the universe, seeing synchronicities everywhere. That's not illness, that is just a symptom of a higher state of awareness. That's a reality. And you can train yourself to tap into this. So is a person schizophrenic for noticing a lot of that? Not necessarily. The second thing is there's a discrepancy between schizophrenia from a brain disorder and schizophrenia from mental illness. There's stories of schizophrenic people's diagnoses happening because they got scared or had a panic attack and it triggered something in the mind and the brain that caused a split or some kind of wiring problem where they started hearing voices. Now, that kind of schizophrenia can be healed. That can change. If it's something to do with like a brain disease, right? There's some kind of if you under the brain scan itself, either there's lesions or there's some kind of permanent, noticeable changes or damage, or what would modern science considers damage. That may not be so easy. That may need to be constantly treated and constantly looked up on. So this other type of schizophrenia, where you hear voices from after like a panic attack, that's something really interesting to get into. And does he really have real schizophrenia? So obviously I'll let the doctors make their diagnoses. But when I was going to sleep some nights, there's a confession, but I don't think it's worthy of a diagnosis. Sometimes I hear like my own thoughts very vividly as if they're separate from me. So it's on a rare occasion. And studies show that sleep deprivation leads to hallucination. So, you get your 8 hours and you won't have this problem. But if you do have this problem, you'll start hearing voices sometimes. You may. Now, does that person have schizophrenia? No. Are they prone to it? Maybe. Are they prone to the first type or second type? Obviously, the type that's not a brain disease. And there's, if someone has a brain disease, it's a disease. Like, why would you like make fun of them? It's a disease. And there's also those who have the other type. They got a panic attack and it's treatable. It's treatable. So why should you act as if, this is who they are for the rest of their life? So it's a conformity, and trying to degrade other people in society. So I don't have schizophrenia, but I do believe in the scientific research, we can delve into what Carl Jung was getting into, what these various psychologists were getting into, how there are archetypal phenomenon. There are divides in the brain such that voices themselves could be part of your own brain that you're just hearing for once in your life. And once you combine that with like esoterics and the philosophy of the interplay between the universe and yourself, what you conclude is that, wait, maybe my brain is also their brains. And maybe if I hear their thoughts, it's not that I'm crazy. I may actually be hearing the one brain's thoughts. So immediately, anyone in the materialist paradigm, anyone who doesn't believe in New Age stuff, they want to push it away. It's too much mumbo jumbo spirituality that can't be concretized. We can't delve into that anymore. We have to label him as schizophrenic. So this might be a rite of passage to entering into a higher way of being. But we as a society are stomping it and saying, no, a person cannot channel spirits. What is this mumbo jumbo? A person cannot embody a certain voice that is not his own conventionally. Now, the fact that you jump to that conclusion means that you're cutting off a potentiality that we just don't want to address because it's scary for us. Okay? So remember, you are afraid of facing up to a potential truth because it goes against everything we're doing in society, keeping things in their strict boxes and saying this is that and that is that and let's keep it at that. Now, what am I getting at here? Schizophrenia. The whole point is schizophrenia. Do I have it? No, I don't have it. Do I have other problems, like multiple personalities that manifest? Mood swings. That's what, mood swings, in my opinion, are a variation of having multiple personalities, and doctors don't often want to get into it for separate reasons. So yeah, there may be other issues that no one wants to address. They say, no, you're just a person who gets moody and therefore it's mood swings. Or maybe there's multiple personalities in the universe. Maybe everyone has multiple personalities and they're forced to adopt one lest they be too disorganized, too erratic for mainstream society. So once you consider that, then you kind of sober up a bit. Now, in the future, I don't want everyone to have problems. I don't want you to think that the process to evolution is to adopting, to attaining, or to not attaining, but to receiving mental variations that used to get people laughed at and pointed at and isolated from the world. I don't want you to think that's like the goal. But what is the goal, perhaps, is that those people don't get noticed as having a problem because the systems at large cater towards that. That's what I'm getting at over here. Now, nothing's coming to mind, so I'm guessing that's the end of this broadcast. All the best.